Hey everyone, welcome to At Home. Today I'm going to teach you how to make this super fun spin cycle quilt. I think you'll be surprised at how simple it comes together. All right, so let's go ahead and check out this adorable quilt. Like I mentioned, I'm calling it Spin Cycle, and I absolutely love how you get these fun kind of spinning flowers or pinwheels that come together. The magic in this quilt is really in the layout. That's how you get all of these blooms to come together, but it is so much fun to make. So first up, you're going to need one package of 10-inch squares, and I use this beautiful collection called Daisy Crush by Heather Bailey for Figo Fabrics. For the background fabric, you're going to need 2.5 yards, and this color is called Moon Shadow. These are all Northcott solids. So then for the pink, it's called Love Potion, and you need 1/3 yard of both it and this high energy yellow or neon green. Those are gonna be the accents that make up the centers of our blooms. For the backing fabric, you need 4 5/8 yards with a vertical seam, or if you have a 108, you just need 2 yards of that. We're also going to use the Missouri Star Small Drunkard's Path template, and it's helpful if you have a glue stick and a marking pin for that portion. So let me show you how to make it. All right, so to make this quilt, all of the blocks are made exactly the same. They look just like this, and I'm gonna walk you through how to make them. And the magic really is in laying it out and making sure that your colors are coming together. So the first step you want to take is from your package of 10-inch squares, you want to select 15 matching sets of 2, and that's going to make up all of these complete blooms that you see in the middle of the quilt. So I have that here. I've got these 2 matching 10-inch squares, and to begin, we are going to cut 2 4.5-inch by 10-inch strips across these. So here's the first set and the second. All right, and so then we can just get rid of this little strip, or you could add it to your stash. It'd be great for some string quilts, but we don't need it today. And so now we have 4 of these 4.5 by 10-inch rectangles. And so we are going to make all of these, every unit for the entire quilt, in the exact same way. And so step 1 is we're going to take template B from our Drunkard's Path. And I like to remember the curve goes on the top, and I'm cutting off the part on the right-hand side because I'm right-handed. So this is just the little mantra that I use throughout the whole thing to help me remember. And I'm also going to use my little chalk marker, and I'm going to mark the end. Actually, let me grab a regular pen because I want to make sure you guys can see. Maybe this pencil will show up better for you guys. I'm just going to mark the end of where that template is because I'll need that as a reference guide later. And so now, because this fits exactly on the edge, I can just shave off this little bit. And I'm going to do that same thing with all 4 of these rectangles. So we'll trim it off. Leave our little reference mark and continue on the stack. I'm going to be wild and cut both of these at the same time, just to save me a little time. You just want to make sure it's lined up all the way to the top edge there and on the side here. And this last one. All right, perfect. So those are ready. And so now from our background fabric, I have cut some rectangles that measure 4.5 by 5.5. And so we are going to use the 4.5-inch measurement on the other side of our template here to cut out our background pieces. And so I'm lining up the edge of my fabric with the solid line of the template. And I'll cut 1 here. There's that first one. And now I can flip this around and I can get 2 of these cuts out of each of these rectangle pieces. There we go. We'll do that same thing one more time. Whoop. Oh, didn't quite cut through that little stitch there, or thread there. There we go. And so now we'll cut this side again. There we go. Beautiful. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and take these, I'm going to finger press them in half and just find the center point of my curves. And I like to get a bunch of these ready so that I can stay at my machine and just keep working my way through that. So we're just going to line those ends up, find my little center mark and finger press. Of course, you could take this to the ironing board if you wanted to, but this is my preference. And one more. Okay, now remember we made that little mark on these where we cut the curves. So now we're going to fold this top point to line up with that mark and then finger press the middle here. This is going to help us add our background unit and make sure everything is lining up where we need it to go. All right, so just like that, I actually have done some of this work ahead, so I'm just gonna sew one of these on camera for you, but just know you're gonna repeat that with all of these, and you wanna make sure the orientation is the same on every single unit that you cut. So let's go ahead and take this now to the machine. Let me show you over here before I start how to line this up to begin. So we're going to take the straight edge and this short little straight edge here, and we're going to start stitching at the top. If you want to pin, you absolutely can. Then we will line up where we finger pressed in the middle, and this opposite end is going to line up straight with the mark that we made. So those are the things I'm looking for. I don't like to pin. I've done enough of these that it kind of gets in my way, but what I do like to do is use a glue stick. So I'll use a little glue stick to begin to just keep those lined up. And then I'm going to take this with me over to the machine, and as I get past the halfway point, I'll line up my ends again as well, and that glue will just hold that in place as I come around the curve. So let's go ahead and do that. Just want to make sure that's nice and straight. And when you're sewing curves, you just need to slow down and be patient with yourself. And I kind of like to think of it as like merging traffic. I'm just going to merge these two pieces of fabric together as I maintain my 1/4 inch seam. And because that curved piece that we're adding to the top is cut on the bias, it just gently stretches and lines up exactly where we need it. So now I've made my way to that midpoint, and so I'm just going to pull around the back side here. Hopefully you can see how that's going to line up exactly, and I'm going to go ahead and just put a little glue there. And I'll just turn that, and then as I approach the machine, I know my end is going to be exactly where I want it. Okay, there is our little curve. I love how these come together, and let's give this a press. It's just going to want to roll back, and so I will just gently let that roll back, make sure I don't have any pleats or tucks along that seam edge. And I think that turned out really nice, and that's how that's going to look. So let me go ahead and point this out to you because I want to make sure you see this. this little bit here is going to get caught in our 1/4 inch seam. And so that's normal. You're looking for that. We're not going to trim it off. We want that to stay just like that. And so then now the next step is, once we have added that curve, on the opposite corner, we are going to add our accent fabric. And so the pattern will tell you how many of these sets get what color, so pay attention to that. But I'm just going to lay this here and stitch corner to corner. So let's go ahead now. Again, you could draw the line, press the line, use diagonal seam tape. I'm just going to eyeball it. Perfect. And now we can trim this off, leaving our 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then we'll press this side as well. Beautiful. Okay, so there's our little unit that is completed. Let me clear some of this off of here, and now we can talk about the layout. So I'll meet you back here in just a second. All right, so once we have stitched all the units according to the pattern instruction, I've got a stack with my yellow snowballs and a stack with my pink. And you really want to take a minute and lay out the whole top so that you can make sure all of these prints will match together. So to begin with, I just choose one of my sets of 4, and I know that my blooms are all going to meet up, and this is going to spin, and so this diamond will finish off in the center here. And then if you want to lay these on the board, you can, or you can wait till you sew your blocks together, but in between your curves is this 2 inch by 10 inch strip that will set in place here. And one more. And then on the opposite side, since these are yellow in the middle, you always know the other side of that block is going to be the different accent color. So then this pink should be on the opposite. And technically, all 4 of these blocks should have a different print because we want these to then meet up with a different one later, right? So just like so. And so then once you have it laid out, we can sew these little units together. So we'll add our 2 inch strip, and then I'll add this opposite one as well. So let's go ahead and do that. And so now we can just open this up. The thing that you want to check is that those accents are on opposite corners of your block. So look for that. And then we can just add this one here to the other side of our 2 inch sashing strip. Take a few stitches and then zoom down. There we go. So now let's press this. And you can see here how that block will just set in like so. I have another set that are all going to match, so let's go ahead and pull these over here. I've already sewn these just so you can see how those are all going to fit together, just like so. Oops, no, actually this one's wrong, so that needs to spin because we want that same color to meet up in the middle. So that's just right. So now let's look back at the quilt behind me. So those large blooms that we laid out are going to make up the center of the quilt. Remember, that was those 15 matching sets. And then our individual prints are going to make up these partial blooms that go all the way around the outside. So just look at the pattern, pay attention. They've laid out exactly how many of each set you want to use, what color of accent, and you get this absolutely beautiful, fun quilt. I love how vibrant and joyful it is, and it goes together really, really fast. I did go ahead and finish this off with a 4 inch outer border, and I quilted it with this fun pattern called Daisy Days. I think it's so cute. For the backing, I use this beautiful daisy print from the line. I absolutely love it, and this quilt finishes at 64 inches by 74 inches, so a great throw size. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on the Spin Cycle quilt, and I'll see you next time on At Home.